design everything.
If it was bolt-in and easy, then everybody do it.
Ready to head to the future? 2020 Freightliner.
Whoa, heavy metal.
It needs to be able to push 45,000 pounds.
45,000 pounds?
We got to put some extensive style in it also.
Bill!
Oh, I'm definitely going to stay and watch this. I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. See the school right up here on the left? I went there the first year it opened. I was in 8th grade there. This old record's been with me a long time. You know, it's a tool for the shop. I spent a whole lot of time driving it all over Texas and even farther than that. Unfortunately, it's starting to show them years. Can I go? Can I go? It's time to make a change. And today's the day we're going to do that. We're going to get a brand new record. My old friends at RPM build customized records. They told me the new record is ready for pickup. What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? You doing all right?
Yeah. I really appreciate you taking this thing on trade for me.
We got you. We'll get her fixed up and find a great home for her. Meanwhile, we'll put you in something head to toe under warranty.
Man, I can't wait to see this thing.
You ready to check it out?
I'm ready to check this thing out.
Let's see it.
That thing is bad. I've never even seen one of these on the road.
First one we built, and you got it.
That is cool. I wanted something bigger and meaner. And this brand new 2019 Chevy 5500 has way more bells and better. I can't wait to load something up on this thing.
Yeah. So we got you the 21-foot bed stationary pylon. That stationary pylon so it doesn't move, because we never know what you're going to be doing with it. The new frame that they gave on this 4-door is real low to the ground, so you won't have to throw a lot of boards to get your low-profile cars up there.
You know I like it low.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right.
Brian, that's what I've been needing, man. Something really reliable, and it looks really cool. And I really appreciate that.
No problem, Bill.
And, man, you take this one, I'm going to take that one. Thank you. I can't wait. It's like Christmas. Like I'm 10 years old again, and Santa just came. I'm always looking for ways we can up our game. And this little upgrade is going to make a big difference. I got a call from my old buddy Jewel. He wanted me to come by and check out a project that he's been working on for quite some time. What's happening, Jewel?
What's going on, Mr. Bill?
How you doing, man?
All right.
This is it, huh?
This is it.
Oh, El Camino, man, you don't see too many of these things.
That's right, Bill. 1973.
The El Camino had a run for almost 30 years. This one is a 4th generation in the past couple of years. We've had our hands on it by building a chassis, adding coilovers, and putting a new 6.2 in it. So I know you already have the chassis done. You already have the engine in this thing. What color is it going to be?
Black, shiny black.
Man, that's going to look good.
That's
There's
right.
only one thing left.
The interior. And that's where you come in there, Bill.
Yeah.
I need the interior to look like the outside of the car. Fabulous.
Well, you know we got you on that.
The reason I want Bill to do my interior because I like how he custom do everything.
So what are you thinking, Jewel?
This car's a 1973, man. I want it to look like a 2073.
So something totally futuristic. Just get rid of everything that's in here and come up with something totally custom.
That's what I'm looking for.
On these old bucket seats, you kind of want to stick with something like that.
What I need old for.
Chunk it. So something just totally unique, totally custom. As far as the dash, we'll come up with something that looks really cool. New cluster that might hold them things in a little better than that. New AC vents. We got to build you a really cool console that flows from the dash all the way back.
That's right.
Totally free flowing and totally look futuristic.
That's what I'm talking about.
As far as stereo,
I want them to hear me when I'm coming down.
so you want something loud looking, you want loud sounding.
See, Bill, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
This thing's gonna be cool. It's gonna be our first El Camino interior for sure. I'm ready. As soon as they get paint on this, have them drop it off, we'll get this thing. This has been a big project for Jewel. It's been years to get just to this point. And in the end, it's the tiniest details that take this whole thing over the top.
Clear? Yeah, we're clear. Coming down.
You know, El Camino is kind of the oddball. It's not really a truck. It's not really a car. So some people love them. Some people hate them. And Jewel loves them. Most definite challenge to make it different, making it futuristic and something that, you know, he can enjoy for years to come that won't be outdated. I'll know this thing is right when people walk up to this. They will automatically think this is a cool custom truck car.
Man, I kind of like these El Caminos, man. They're cool, dude.
Man, I'm not a fan of them. I mean, come on, make up your mind. Do you want a car or do you want a truck? Pick something.
That's what I'm saying, though. You can take it to church, look cool, and then still put your goats in the back. Oh, Buckman.
Oh, here he is.
Well, you guys know what we need.
A lot. Yep.
This thing can be cool. You know, you want something relevant and futuristic that can stand the test of time.
What do you mean futuristic?
This thing is a 1973, and he says he wants a 2073 interior.
All right.
He don't want the same old seats, the same old console, and the same old dash that everybody else has. So we're going to hand make a brand new dash and a console.
Instead of gauges, we did kind of like a Tesla. You know, has that big touch screen in the middle. We can have all your functions for your media on the bottom and then the gauges on the top part of it.
Cool. It just sets this thing apart from everything else. So we got to redesign everything. Headliner, carpet, seats.
What do you mean seats? These seats are futuristic. Check this out. It doesn't get any more futuristic than this. No matter how many tacos you eat, you can always get in.
And not only just something that looks good, we want this thing to sound good. I mean, behind the seats,
Plenty of room back there.
have room for whatever you can dream up if
Yeah.
there's room. I know you guys won't disappoint, man.
Never. You ready to head to the future?
2073.
Let's get it.
Because it's a complete do-over, Heath and John are going to take this thing all the way down to the bare metal.
I'm gonna lean it back. Can you unplug the airbag for me? This old dash is made of plastic. It's just gonna crack and crumble. There's no way we can fix it. So instead of messing with it, we're just gonna rip it out and build something new. So where we're going, we don't need no dash. Because we're making a new dash from scratch, it means a lot of work.
But it also means we can do whatever the customer wants. And as hot as it gets down here in Houston, he wants it cold. Real cold. Super cold. Normally, when you do an AC system in an old hot rod like this, you would have a flexible ductwork that's squished in certain areas so it slows it down. We're going to go directly to the evaporator, so it'll have a nice amount of air coming out of there. So what we're going to do is build our own vent system off of this. Basically, I'm making a box which will feed into the vent chamber. I'm going to curve this way so it forces the air that way instead of bouncing around in here. Our other vent's going to force it into a Y pattern. It's going to take the air and disperse it across this whole area straight up. Functionality-wise, I think it's going to be good. It's important that we get this plastic weld on the end. Pull it back and then push it forward, and it makes like a little bridge. Looks almost like a MIG weld. It takes a little longer than glue, but it works well. Real good way of bonding those plastics together. A lot of people, they're afraid to do a dash because it is a big undertaking. You can't be afraid. You can't have any fear. Once I built my first one, I was hooked because it really separates you from the crowd. Nobody will have another vehicle like yours. I've done interiors on cars that have been second, third place cars. And we do an interior with a dash in it, and now it's best to show everywhere it goes. So it's definitely worth it.
customer comes to us with his dream project like the 73 El Camino, it's on us to create something that's way over what he's expecting. That's why Heath is making the dash completely by hand.
Now, what we're going to do is start designing the dash around our temporary vent. So I'm going to build the sides first. This shape right here determines the whole shape of this lower dash. Being that the air vent has got a different arc in the lower portion of the dash, these ribs are different all the way down. As they go and move along the dash, each one of these fits like I want to. It's a little bit extra effort, but it's worth it in the end. We have a structure now. I'm going to go ahead and skin the whole thing with 1/8 inch PVC so it's smooth with as little body work as possible. And then I'll go from there and form the rest of it with a little bit of heat, a little bit of pressure. Got to clip it around that metal on the bottom, line it up with the vent. That's cool. Now I just got to finish everything else. You're halfway done to 3/4 of the way unfinished. There you go.
Running it back to the shop. You know, we've done a lot of different builds over the years. Each one has their own little challenges. Any job, when you're building something totally custom, you're doing it for a purpose. This job is no different. The sheer scale of this one is what sets it apart.
What is this?
This thing is a 2020 Freightliner. 37,500 pounds empty. Damn. Right back over. The city has these wreckers well equipped to pull the biggest vehicles out of any jam. There's one problem with this that hadn't been addressed. It needs to be able to push 45,000, 50,000 pounds, off the road.
That's not going to do it.
Definitely not going to do it. So we need to make a push bumper for the front and not just regular old heavy-duty bumper with some rubber pads. We got to put some extensive style in it also. It's got to be a custom bumper to be able to handle all that weight.
And this big, massive wrecker can do anything, but once we address the front end and it can push, it'll be able to do everything.
Correct.
I'll get the gate.
The new wrecker smell. Man, just looking at this truck, you can just see the strength in it. Every part and piece is overbuilt. And we have to take that over the top thinking and really add a lot of strength to the front of this truck. There's a lot of projects that come through the door where, they have to have strength and style, but this one is times 100. It's a cool truck, huh? What we're doing is building a new super strong front bumper that'll be able to push 45,000 pounds.
45,000 pounds?
That definitely not gonna do it. That just fold up like a can. Before we get this thing all stripped apart, let's get some chipboard and really get a visual of how I want the bumper to look. It's supposed to be 24 inches, but that corner right there, if the front wheel goes in a hole, this thing's just gonna dig right in. So the best thing to do is slope it up a little bit, keep it from dragging on a curb and make it look a lot cooler too.
Yeah.
Man, you ready to get that plasma fired up?
Hell yeah. So with this bumper having to push 45,000 pounds, we're going to have to go with the thickest metal we can. 1/2 inch steel plate on your fingers. Whoa, heavy metal. Telling you, 1/2 inch plate definitely isn't a quick process. But the plate being thicker, the plasma has to penetrate a lot more metal, and it has to move slower so that when it does penetrate, it doesn't give us an angled cut. So it has to slow down the whole process so we can get that perfect straight cut. Now just take it off the table, clean it up, see how it looks.
Really did a great job burning this out. 1/2 inch plate, super strong. This is exactly what this thing needs to be able to push the weight it needs to push. The next thing we need to tackle is the bumper brackets. we're going to weld this bracket right to the back side of this plate here. Basically, it's going to tie to the front of the truck here and bolt to these bolts here. And then we're going to bend a 90 on it. That's where the strength needs to be to get out here on the side. So it's really critical to build a bracket that's really strong, coming all the way out pretty much to the end of the bumper.
That's hot and heavy.
Got it?
Yeah.
You ready to bend it? Let's bend it. We're going to bend this at 1 3/4 inches. It's going to have a lip on it. That's going to give us our side load. Let me slide it down this way a little bit. We've never bent the 1/2 inch on this machine before, so okay. Hopefully our brake. Well, that ain't gonna work. You know, with all the flash floods, hurricanes we get down here in Houston, the city wants a bumper on the 2020 Freightliner to be able to push 45,000 pounds. Our new 1/2 inch steel bumper is definitely going to do the trick, but our brake wouldn't do the job, wouldn't cut it. In this case, wouldn't bend it. Luckily, I got a guy right around the corner in the neighborhood. He's got a big enough press to get this job done, and that's where I'm heading right now. Hello, Casey, what's up, man?
Not much. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, but I got a little problem.
What you got?
I got a piece of 1/2 inch plate, 6 feet long. My brake just isn't cutting it.
1/2 inch. Come on now.
Can you help me out?
Let's take a look.
I know this is nothing for you,
Nothing.
man.
It's a little baby. We can help you out with this. Piece of cake for us. We do it all the time. We have a 1,000-ton press brake, so that's 1,000 tons of pressure coming down, so they can definitely bend some steel.
So from this line out, I needed 2 1/4. That's why it's at
Different tip?
Yeah.
All right. Let's set it up and see what she does.
Compared to the steel that Casey bends from day to day, this bracket is tiny. So with this machine, they're going to just make sure they get the right angle.
Hey.
This thing bent that like butter.
Then now you go like this.
Perfect. Look at it. Man, that's on the money right there. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. This is exactly what we need. It's a perfect 90 degrees. Once we get this on the bumper, it's going to be able to push whatever's in front of it. You better look out. Don't get in its way. The 1973 El Camino was the first generation of the swivel seats. Heath and John have convinced me to keep the swivel. But if we're going to make this design as futuristic as Jules asked for, the rest of the seat has to be totally custom.
As you can tell, this seat isn't very futuristic looking. We're going to strip it down, get all this off, get the foam out of it. We just need to figure out a mount and a shape for our headrest mount that we're going to have on here. This has to go. Coming up with this seat design, I kind of thought of what you would see in, like, sounds kind of corny, but like a spaceship or something, without being too spacey. Transfer this to expanded PVC. We're going to use a router because it's got a flush trim bit on it. We can go all the way around, and every piece we make will be the exact same size. There we go. Looking pretty good. We're going to set it in the car, see what it looks like. So far, I like it. And now we just got to get the foam looking futuristic like the rest of the seat. It's going to look cool.
What we're using for this seat is a high-density foam that lets us get a good hard line for our shapes and the design that we're going after. Even though I'm not a huge fan of El Caminos, in all honesty, it just makes me want to take this one over the top even more, so even I love it. Take some PVC, heat mold that into place. We're going to use a weighted sandbag here once it's all nice and hot. You mean this? Yeah, go for it. It'll mold and bend in the way we want to, kind of contour to the seat. That way the sandbag gets its hands burnt and not me. The cool thing about doing things custom is you know that no one else is going to have it. It's going to be one of a kind. I like the creative aspect of it and actually making something out of my mind. I tried sitting down at a desk one time. It didn't work out for me. I could not do it. Cool. Then we'll be ready to wrap it. All right, that bad boy's clean, so.
All right, now we're moving into the center console. What we're gonna do is build a base that looks like the floor and give the effect of a floating console. So now I've just got it routed out with the router, and then we can start assembling this false floor. Cool, that fits. All right, looks like it's fitting pretty good. Now I got to figure out the sides, make chipboard templates in here, and then replicate those out of 1/4" PVC, and then we'll attach it to the side. I can put a little heat to it, fit it a little better around these bottom corners, especially since we're right next to the gas pedal here. We don't want nothing protruding. It's always good to run a heat gun in 100-degree Texas weather. All right, set this sucker in here. Uh-oh. It's not gonna fit. That's not gonna work.
Even though we're building a custom one-of-one interior on this 73 El Camino, it's definitely not a blank slate. Because we got to build in the confines of the original design of the most creativity happens.
Well, as you can see, this thing isn't gonna swivel. It's too wide here, too tall. We're gonna have to modify this console. So, looks like I got work to do. Doing custom stuff like this, there's always something, man. So, you can't let it get to you. It was bolt in and easy, then everybody do it. So, it ain't easy being cool. We barely clear, but we clear. Now we can make some plastic. Being that there's 3 layers, we have to bend it and then stack and then bend it and stack and bend it and stack. When you heat it, the molecules expand, which is going to push it down. First piece, heat it, bend it, attach it. Second piece, plastic. Heat it, bend it, attach it. Our third piece, heat it, bend it, attach it. Got all that cut out. Grind these corners like I want. Now you can see all 3 pieces line up. It's going to give a nice, cool effect, man. Still got some detail work to do, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, man. See what we got. Think it's gonna fit? Yeah. Rudy's done an awesome job getting these half-inch steel pieces ready. Now we can tack them on the truck. Okay, next piece, we got our upper bumper bracket. Poke 2 holes in this. We'll be able to bolt that sucker. This really supports the edge of the bumper out here. Look good. It's gonna look good. This thing looks mean. Compared to what it was before, what it is now, night and day. Man, let's sit there and tack it. The placement of the bumper pieces are really important to give it the right form and function. Hey, hold that big flat bar up against it. It looks like it's too far in on the top. Here, let's just tack it to it. See the long straight edge right there, you can see exactly where the grill is versus the straight edge. It's farther out on this side from the fender to the top of the bumper. Fender, see it? You have the straight edge with the grill and the bumper, you know it's on the money. Pulled it a lot, huh? This thing looks good, huh? Looks damn good. Yeah, we got a great start, but right now it just looks like we found a piece of plate 45 the corners and make the wheel opening continue all the way down into the bumper. So from the side, it looks like it fits the truck. That'll work. Let's go with that. All right.
All right. I think we got enough stitch welds on this thing to transport it over to my welding table. So being our big beefy bumpers made out of half-inch plate, my welding process is going to be stepped up just a little bit. For this one, I'm going to have to crank the speed up and the voltage up. So voltage is how hot you're going to be welding. So for thinner metal, you want to keep the voltage down. That way you don't just burn right through the metal. And for the thicker metal, you want the voltage up pretty high. That way you get it nice and hot and actually penetrate into the metal. You want your wire speed up high. Because you're burning really hot, you want there to be enough material to come out and burn into the metal. Well, it looks like we're done welding our bumper completely out. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and grind down our welds on the top of the bumper and the front of the bumper, make it look nice and smooth, and then send it over to powder coat.
It floods, which is the whole reason for the new bumper for the 2020 Freightliner. Because sometimes the city has to push big rigs out of the way and fast. Now that the bumper is back from powder coat, it's time to cut some rubber for an extra layer of protection. Is you? Man, I need some speakers in here, man. It's a push bumper for the big 18-wheeler record, so we need to clad the front of this with rubber. What I need your help with is making a jig for this thing so we can stick the rubber to it and route it. There's no way to do it with a razor knife.
You never want to mess your rubber up.
You know, this is definitely one of those steps that nobody ever knows that you do. We're taking the time to make sure all the edges, sure this is right when it leaves and looks as good as it can. Man, let's make it just a little cooler. Maybe 3 lines in here. You know, we'll cut out little windows in this. It won't affect anything when it's pushing, but it'll give us a little more color on the front. If we could just spend a little bit more time to make it a lot better project, man, it makes me sleep better at night. Ooh, oh, thank God it didn't break that. Need to really appreciate your help. All the edges look real good, nice and straight and clean. Flip this thing over, put the lights on, and stick it on the truck.
Start pushing some stuff over, huh?
We gotta test it out with something. Maybe we'll test it out with heat.
I don't know if it's that strong.
What are you doing?
We just built the bumper on the big wrecker, right? I want to test it.
You're going to push the toter
Yeah,
with the wrecker.
Rudy's backing it up right now. You want to check it out?
Oh, I'm definitely going to stay and watch this.
A statement for sure.
That thing looks really good. It fits the truck now, like, perfect.
Yeah, and this bumper ain't no punk either. That's not 1/4-inch plate. That's 1/2-inch thick.
You're definitely not going to bend that one.
No.
It just fits and flows like it came with the truck. From the engineering to the form to the function to the overall style, the looks, y'all did a real good job.
That's the point, right?
Look just as good as I do coming down the road.
Anybody else hear that dog?
From where this thing was, it was just weak. And now, this thing is super strong. And if Timmy's impressed, you know we built something cool. It definitely looks good, fits good. We want to make sure it works good. Well, the heaviest. Rudy, you ready? Let's see what it do. Ain't nothing to it, Rudy. Man, got it, man.
And no flex at all.
Man, no problem.
That's form and function right there.
everything for this bumper. I definitely think not only looks good, works good, functions good, and is super strong.
And y'all didn't tear up the toter, huh?
Yeah, I know you was worried about that. Before we took on the interior, we've been working with Jewel on this 73 El Camino for a while now. We installed a new LS, and Matt's getting this thing running.
Now that we got the motor all in it, I got to finish up a couple little things, and hopefully with some luck, it'll fire right up. This is an LS3 throttle body. We just got it painted to kind of go with the overall appearance, better look. The throttle body allows, when you hit the gas pedal, the accelerator pedal, it'll open up and allow the air to flow in. I'm going to go ahead and put the cold air intake on that we had made for it. They're not made to go in the cars we put them in, so there's always little quirks that we got to work. They're flexible, so you can kind of bend them out of the way as you need, keeps them away from the headers. They can handle some heat, but direct contact isn't good for them. Now we're going to try to start it and see where we go. Everything's looking good. Motor sounds strong. We're ready to get this thing on the road and see what it can do.
You know, door panels are just one of those things you may never even notice. When a customer like Jewel says he wants something futuristic, something like no one else has, hand-making custom panels, well, that's everything.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to scavenge this lower portion of the door panel. The only piece I really need is this top rounded edge. And I can make it myself, but it just saves me a lot of time. Now we've got these taken apart, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start our template process. To get our template, I have to destroy this panel now. This is going to piss off El Camino owners because this is probably a hard panel to find for some people that don't want a custom interior. Now it'll be useless when I cut this pocket out, but it's perfectly useful for me because I need to make a template. So go find another one sometime. You find little tricks that make it go faster. And more important, you make it look like you have it in your head the first time. However, it takes a long time to get to that point. What I'm going to do is a technique called kerfing. Kerfing is a process that allows me to bend the material. And I'm going to put the fiberglass reinforced filler on there, which will hold that shape.
Use this piece to kind of mark the bottom of that dash.
So when I make my inserts, it's all going to line up and the lines are going to flow correctly. To me, that's one of the biggest things, is that everything lines up, everything flows, it looks like it belongs. It was done correctly with a purpose. Perfect. Our base panel lines up with the base panel of the dash, and our bottom side lines up with the bottom of the dash. That's good. So we just got to duplicate it on the other side. Man, it's going to look really cool.
Now that we got the console laid out, it's where it needs to be. Next thing, and the most important thing we need to do, is put some tunes in this car. I'm going to go with a smaller driver, put it in a ported enclosure. That way I can tune the enclosure, get more bass out of it, and we'll really make something cool in the back of this car. All I want to do now is cut a hole for the woofer and a hole for the port. And just like that, hole in the box. Basically what the port does is it tunes the enclosure, get this sound real nice and crisp and tight and solid. We're going to run with a 14¼ inch port. The longer the port, the lower the tuning frequency. This box is tuned at 32 hertz. Now that we got the port in the box, all I got to do, put a little sealant around the outside. I'll run on the inside with some liquid nails to hold it in place good and solid. This box is finished. What up, man?
What's up, brother?
I got us a box.
All right. With all we're doing, the speaker box on its own just ain't gonna look right.
Yeah, so it's got to look seamless, so we're making a panel to blend it into the entire design.
It's gonna be dope.
We're trying to get some depth on the box, give it some dimension, instead of just being a square box back here, because we don't want a big block on the side of this thing when you open the door. We want it to be nice and flowing from the doors all the way to the dash. This thing's gonna be cool. The next thing we want to do is start working on the bottom. And I'm gonna kerf it, that way it'll bend and we'll get a nice curve to go back in on itself and get a good shape on this enclosure.
Now that we have the curved wood in here, we just need to just get it to fit just right and we'll fiber all it in. The main important thing to me was this transition, making these curves more natural looking, helps it all flow back into the car. We don't want it to end, so we're going to continue it all the way through, make one complete piece of art. It fits the panel real good now. We just got to do some grinding, shaping, body working, and she's ready to wrap.
You just made that sound like it was like 10 minutes of work.
It is. I ain't doing it. The technology and stuff that everybody has nowadays, it's setting a precedent right now where everything looks machine made. Yeah. And I didn't get into this to be a CAD man, you know?
No, not at all, you know.
I got into this to build cool stuff.
We try to use the machinery as much as we can to speed up some processes, but you still have to have that organic feel. When I got started, computers weren't even around. I know how to turn them off and turn them back on.
Yeah, that's
see if I broke it or not.
It's not working, turn it off, turn it back on. Or just go make it by hand.
Yeah, it's a lot easier that way sometimes.
What drives me crazy is, you know, people will spend all this money on paint, wheels, tires, suspension, and they get to the interior and they just tint the windows or just say, oh, well, I'll just paint some pieces.
Yeah. Too many times you walk up to a car and you're like, man, that is nice. And you miss that point.
Exactly. That's where you're at in the car. You know what I mean? That's what you see.
Spend all your time inside the car.
Inside the car. Hopefully, if it's built right, you're not working on it on the outside all the time. You're driving it.
Originally came in wanting red interior on that 73 El Camino, but that classic red, it just doesn't scream the future. So we changed it up, with his blessing of course, to a clean, modern blue leather.
We got our seat ready to wrap, and we got this blue leather here. We'll give it a good contrast with the car, give it a nice futuristic feeling. We'll take the patterns that I just made, cut it out, glue them to some foam, hit the sewing machine. You know, when we're doing our custom seats, they're far different from doing any factory seats. Our factory seats already have patterns. Everything on these have to be figured out, you know. There is no rule book on how this is supposed to go together. You just gotta kind of shoot for the stars.
Now, we move on to wrapping everything. Let's start working my way through the door panels and move on and get the whole car done. Gotta wrap each individual piece, reassemble, put back on the vehicle, and repeat that process over and over again.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Man, this thing came out pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
Got the gauges up there, all connected through OBD2 and Bluetooth. So it just transmits all the data from the motor to the tablet.
And radio and media center, everything at the bottom. I like that, man.
Got that trim panel for it?
Yeah.
Let's see how she looks on there. Yeah, see, that finishes it off nice.
You know, El Caminos have always stood out just for what they are. Part muscle car, part truck. But I can safely say there's never been another one created like we made here. So we're going to take Jewel back to the future so he can see his 2073 interior for the first time. Jewel, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, Bill?
What do you think about this place?
Man, this is a nice place here.
You gotta set the tone, right? You wanted something futuristic? You know, what better place to give you this thing back than a DeLorean Motor Company?
I can't wait to see it, man.
This car I know has been a labor of love for you. You've been waiting on it for a couple of years. We built it in stages for you. We built the chassis, the new LS in it, good brakes. You wanted...
I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. I want to see something.
I know you're going to be
waiting.
waiting.
See something.
Man, let's check this thing out.
All right. I know that ain't it, man.
That's the same one, man.
Bill, that's what I'm talking about. It look mean when it comes to you.
It's a presence when it's coming at you, right?
Bill, totally different car, man. Totally different car. Ooh, man, look at that steering wheel,
he's
man.
the one that's, you know, created this interior, this thing.
Man.
Ooh, I love you for that, man. I love you, man. Come on, man. Give me a hug, man. I love you for that, man. Man. Car look real good, man. I'm talking about real good. It can't look no better.
You know, when it came in, man, it was rough. It definitely took some time, but it's been a labor of love to really make you something special.
When you said 2073, you weren't playing around, Bill. Man, smell brand new. It smells
It is brand new.
Look at them seats, man. Them seats just make me want to just sit on them.
That seat isn't something you can just go buy. These guys shaped every part and piece of this,
Man,
and then they wrapped
I can
each
hear that seat
individual
calling
piece.
my name now, man. That seat is calling my name, man.
When it first came in, the dash that was in there just wasn't going to come from scratch. We handmade everything on this thing. We heated and molded all these pieces to get that futuristic shape. See, you see that big line in the middle of the dash?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
What's that?
That's your air vent. When you turn your AC on, it blows a solid line of air right at you all the way across.
And y'all done took it to another level. A whole nother level. Oh, man. The seats, the headliner, center console, carpet, everything match. Can't ask for it to be done no better.
What you don't see is any gauges in the dash.
Yeah.
That's where they come up with something really cool.
That tablet has all your gauges up top. That lower one down there has your radio.
2073.
That's what I'm talking about.
2073.
Tell them about the system in it.
Yeah, we got a Rockford Fosgate 5 channel in here. 10-inch subwoofer. We put on one side, kind of like they would in the future. You have components in the kick panel, and everything's run off a cool app that works just like a radio, but you got navigation, you got everything.
I ain't even seen this in the new cars yet.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just really impressed with the interior in this. I mean, starting from scratch, building something that's never been seen before, and giving Jules something really that's amazing. You know, shoot, I'm even amazed myself. I can't say enough about, you know, Heath, John, all the guys at the shop. They always step up, putting their heart and soul into.
I'm right on up, because I ain't never seen nothing like this. Man, this is everything I can ever want. Come on, man, give me another hug, man. Give me another hug, man.
I'm glad you like it, man.
Yeah.
Wow, Cummins.
Not every day you put an engine in a truck that the engine weighs more than a truck.
We're gonna have to make it a lot of room that isn't there. And then we gotta make this extra strong to handle all that extra torque. I didn't know you even had a race truck.
Just another bad addiction. This ain't one of them $200,000 builds, you know. We built that from the junkyard.
Might need to take that thing for a little ride.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, the custom truck scene is so big on the north side of Houston. No matter what I need, I need a drive shaft for one of my builds. So I'm gonna go see my old friend David and his son Daniel. They run a little salvage yard amongst all their other little businesses.
Hey, Bill, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good
What's
to see
happening?
you. Same old thing, hot.
I know, that's right.
Yep.
I came over because I need some.
That's all right. What
That's what
do you
you
need?
always tell me, at least.
Yeah. What do you need?
Man, I need a two-piece drive shaft. You know, we always mock up with those things, so.
I have to get them out, but yeah, we got them.
Whether it's their mud trucks or whatever they're interested in at the time, I always like seeing what they're up to. Sometimes I like taking them for a run.
Hey, what you got going on here? Oh, that's a little race truck we've been working on. What's up, Bill? What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
Oh, you know, another day.
So you got your little Colorado and just got after it, huh? Man, let me check this thing out.
All right, let's take it down.
The customization comes in all sort of shapes, sizes. This is just a prime example of that, of just taking an old truck, cramming a big engine in it, big turbo, and just seeing how fast it'd go.
What do you think of this, Bill?
A little LS, huh?
Uh-huh. Everybody got to have an LS nowadays.
Yup.
So, you know, we're just trying to get in where we're fitted, man.
Yeah, you had to make a little room here for the turbo, I see.
Oh, yeah. Just a little. You know, we still haven't put a hood on it.
You don't need all that. Man, I know y'all been building the big mud trucks, but I didn't know you even had a race truck.
Into the airbags, and I got us into the mudding, and now just another bad addiction.
Something to spend money on.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
How quick is this thing?
It does all right. And we built this truck to roll. I mean, of course, it's got an 88mm turbo. Oh, yeah. 2-speed power glide. Mm-hmm. Got them fresh Hoosiers on the back, too. Fresh new tires. That has no choice but to go. Hey, it rolls out good. That nitrous works, too. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thing's cool, man. So you got the cage in here, get the harness in here.
Oh, yeah, you got to have that. Trust me, you're going to want to use those.
Come over to get a drive shaft, stumble across the Colorado with the crazy crazy LS in it, turbo. It's a good day.
All right, guys, we gotta go out back and get that drive shaft built.
All right, appreciate it.
Anytime, sir.
These guys are the ultimate backyard builders. They take whatever they got and turn it into something cool. Right now for them, it's all about speed, and the faster the better. You know, I'm all about pushing the limits on my builds, so I can definitely understand putting a big engine in a small space. But it's the fun part of doing what we do. You know, I had a customer, Monty, give me a call, said come check out a project that he had for me. And rolling up here today, man, his place is really impressive. Hey, Monty.
Bill, how you doing?
Hey, man, good.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, man, good to see you. Thanks for having me out.
Absolutely.
So you got a little project for me, huh?
Well, I do. I think it's something you really like.
Man, that's nice. I'm super impressed. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. He's got a couple of 1930 Chevys, a 63 AMC Rambler American, and this 1954 Henry J is one of only 325 ever built. You got a nice collection.
Thank you very much. I've got some stuff I've had in here for 30 years and stuff that I just acquired. So
nice.
A little mix of everything.
Yeah. Which one of these you got for me?
Well, it's this 37 International here. It needs some of your help.
Man, that's a good-looking truck. It's pretty rare to find a 1937 International D2 Harvester in this good a shape. 80 years ago, these were giving Ford and Chevy a run for their money. I just love these body styles on this. It was different. It's not, you know, the Ford and the Chevy that everybody has.
Yeah, they're not that common. It's just amazing to find them in this kind of shape.
Yeah, it looks like it's in great shape.
Yeah.
So, Monty, what do you want to do with this thing?
I love the look. I want to drive it, but it's just not that much fun to drive.
What's under the hood of this?
Well, I think you're going to know what's in there.
Inline.
An old Chevy motor. Somebody put in probably 20 years ago when the old International engine quit.
Years ago, it was a little upgrade, but definitely not anymore. Man, I think, Monty, what this thing needs, you know, International truck, put a Cummins diesel in it.
A diesel?
You can get plenty of no problem.
But it would have to make noise, though. When you start it up, I want to wake up the neighbors.
Oh, it's definitely going to make some noise.
Okay, good.
And with the diesel power plant, we need to stop this thing. And with stopping comes with new suspension. What's this got underneath here? Oh, straight axle on this?
Yeah, bounce,
Yeah.
you know.
We just need to modernize this, you know, lower it down to the ground, modern brakes, new wheels and tires, really make this thing handle and ride like a modern car. Once we're done with the foundation of this old truck, this thing is going to ride and perform like it's supposed to. What about the interior in this thing?
You know, that seat that's in there is about as comfortable as a buckboard wagon. You bounce around, and you hang onto the steering wheel to keep from flying out of the door. I would leave it to you guys to figure out a way to make that comfortable.
Definitely. You know, I think about this build, it's all about making a custom interior for this that doesn't detract away from the 37 styling. Make it comfortable for you and your wife and still have a nice feel to it.
That I like.
What are we doing back here?
Well, what I'd really like to do is customize this a little bit. My family had a grocery store and a gas station in Alliance, Nebraska, and they had old pickups like that, so I thought maybe I could put Cashner Grocery on here, and it's a little tribute to my dad.
Yeah, we can definitely come up with something with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I really like when I can tie something personal into a build, and this wood in the bed is a perfect opportunity. I'm ready to get going on this thing, man. It's going to be exciting. It'll be fun.
I think so. It'll be different.
We'll give you the full money.
Oh, I love it.
This truck is 80 plus years old. We got to get rid of everything and start over. It's a beautiful truck, but people don't come to us for restorations. I don't care who you are. Old trucks are cool. Anytime we get to work on a piece of history like this, it's something special. Monty wants something custom, but he wants something to still really look authentic. Something that still has the 30s feel, but he can get in, start it up, and drive it wherever he wants. Builds like this are super cool to me. You get to keep a truck like this on the road and still get to put my spin on it. You know, it doesn't get better than that.
What are you doing? What's up? Remember in old times when you used to do that for a living at the service station?
Yeah. Just a customer of ours, bud.
He wants to keep the 37 styling.
And it's actually pretty good shape for a 37.
Yeah, this thing's in real good shape. I'm thinking on this, let's pull out this old inline 6 and replace it with the inline 6. But not just an inline 6, 12 valve Cummins.
Oh, we're gonna put a Cummins in here?
Yeah.
It's not gonna fit real easy.
No, it isn't just a drop in, drop out. It's an inline 6 to inline 6, but he's a little bit involved with that, right? To make that other engine fit, we're gonna have to cut the firewall all out and just make it a lot of room that isn't there. You know, Monty's a pretty tall guy, so we want to build the sheet metal around the engine as tight as we can, so it gives him a lot more foot room in it. And with that, we want some upgrades underneath the front end also. You know, as a straight axle underneath this thing, doesn't stop, doesn't ride, doesn't drive
like a
good.
stagecoach with a straight axle under this thing.
Yeah. We're going to build independent front suspension for it with some nice disc brakes on it and a big 20-inch wheel with the same overall styling that's on there now.
That's gonna look really nice. What are we gonna do about the interior?
Check this thing out. As you can see, you know, no frills here, right?
Man, I've seen farm tractors with more options than this.
Right. We want a comfortable seat. Want to change out the column to put new glass in it too, because you know, just full interior.
This is Bill's.
Just a little bit. It's a 5-minute job.
Yeah,
It's an hour-ish.
as far as the back goes, check this out. You know, back here, of course, we're going to get it down with coilovers also. Put a Ford 9-inch in it, you know, fuel cell.
Yeah.
You know, on the bed of the truck, his family has had a grocery store throughout the years. So he wants to put, you know, a little plaque on the wood here to commemorate his family history and the store they've had.
So it makes it real personal.
Yeah,
That's a pretty cool idea doing that.
well, man, let's get this thing on the rack and let's figure out how we're going to get the engine out of this thing and put that other one in.
All right.
As good as this truck looks after 80 years, you just don't know what Tim and Jamie are going to find after tearing down.
Oh man, what do you think? Old baling wire right here. Old coat hanger right here. Gas tank's had a couple issues in the past. You can see where they patched it a couple times. Got some little crevices from the local hardware store. Check that out. Man, I know my grandfather do whatever it took to stay out in the field. He farmed that field from the time the sun came up to the sun went down. This looks like it's, well, enough look, man. Let's get it done. Man, look at this right here. That big old arch in it. Looks like they definitely might have jumped it once or twice. I mean, I'd have loved to have seen this thing going through the air. Imagine how it felt like that. I really like working on trucks like this because you get to see how they did it back in the day. These were made by hand, you know, an assembly line instead of now like the cars made by robots and machinery. It's a different kind of feel when you're working on a vehicle like this. It's a piece of history. Ready? Probably good. Can you lift up? Can you pry right there with the pry bar? Yeah. I'm gonna pry it out and it's gonna flip up. Okay, back up just a little bit. Okay, up. Up, 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 up. All right.
I want to go with the Cummins 12 valve in the International. I like the contrast of putting one of the toughest. They stopped making the 12 valve back in 1998. So I had to have the Wells family find one. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
We got your diesel.
There it is.
This it, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
12 valve. Where'd you get this thing at?
Out of 97 Dodge, ready to go, bro. We got the same engine in our drag truck.
This 1,100-pound, 5.9-liter engine has over 400 foot-pounds of torque. But what makes this stand out is its durability. Man, this thing looks like hell, but it runs good, right? It's gonna run good.
She's solid, bro.
It has a fully mechanical fuel injection system, so it basically self-lubricates. This thing will pretty much outlive us all. This is exactly what we needed.
Glad we could help. The 12 valve Cummins, the best diesel engine ever made. So you can't beat these things. Once this thing's all done, we'll have awesome fuel mileage and this much power in that little over truck.
It's gonna get it. That's for sure.
It's huge, man.
Tim? Not every day you put an engine in a truck that the engine weighs more than a truck. It's pretty unique.
This is gonna be fun.
We got a ton of support underneath here. We're going to start by leveling the body and frame all back up. We don't want to go in and just cut the whole firewall out. We're just getting it in, seeing what the next cuts need to be. Kind of put it half-ass center, Jamie.
That's pretty close right there, Bill.
So it's just a little at a time. Cut a little bit, inch it in a little bit. See what else you have to cut. Cut a little more, inch it in. Get a little at a time so you don't have this huge opening in the firewall to have to recreate later.
You know, getting this heavy engine in this truck is a challenge. But not only getting it in, you got to get it mounted properly. Now we made tabs off the frame back here. That's the tubing coming down, going over a center mount. It'll all be rubber mounted. The motor be mounted on rubber. Transmission mounts be mounted on rubber. We just totally reinforced everything 100%. It's beefier, it's heavier. It's not going nowhere. Ready? Pretty much anytime you go with a bigger engine, it's going to come with a bigger transmission. So I'm making a bigger trans tunnel and a new subfloor. So we came in with some 3/4 inch square tubing, built a new structure. That's going to be the skeleton that holds the new floor. So we'll cut some sheet metal. Sheet metal will connect the firewall, and we'll be done with the floor. There's several ways to do this, but me personally, I like to bend as many bends as I can. It's less places you have to weld to do and less heat on the panel. I'm going to drill some holes so when I push it down from the top, I can weld it from the top. And you look up from the bottom, you don't see any welds, you don't see anything, it's all slicked out and looks good.
Back when this International rolled off the factory, it would have been hard to imagine the torque we're putting into it. So we got to build a whole new super heavy-duty suspension, starting with these control arms.
From the center of the bolt hole to the center of the ball joint cup, we've laid out for exactly 10 inches. So now what we're going to do, we're going to build some pipe to come over to connect the ball joint to the bushing. That's going to be the structure of our control arm. Now we have the skeleton all done up. Jamie's making a plate that's going to go in here. All this will be welded together, and the plate will be welded on this to make everything extra strong. We need the transmission jack over here. Go up a little bit. So once we got the bottom control arm on, we'll put the spindle on, the rotor on, make sure everything functions, everything's good. Then we'll make the coilover mounts. These two tabs right here are going to weld to the plate. Watch your finger. The plate is going to hold the arm. That's what's going to hold the truck up in the air and give it adjustment. Cycle it up and down, see how good it stays up and down, and we'll go from there.
Front suspension's all mocked up. So Tim and Jamie are moving to the rear and start notching the frame.
The stock frame rails have a natural curve over the rear axle. So we're just going to open up the notch a few inches. It'll maintain the structural integrity while overall changing the stance and look of the truck. What I need to do now is contour this flat bar to the shape of this radius right here. So sometimes it's about just getting your piece pretty close and then just forming it in as you go. So I'll start cranking it with this C-clamp, just getting it in the shape. And I'll keep tacking welding it until it's perfect. So you can see the inside now, it's capped. It's got a nice shape to it. It's contoured to the template. I need to go ahead and weld that in, grind it down, and be good to go. I actually like the way this looks. It looks better than the original. It's got a little bit of style to it, nice shape. It's going to look good on the frame.
Dave and Daniel's truck looked good in the garage, so they invited me out to Houston Motorsports Park to see Daniel take some runs. Man, that thing looks mean with that big old turbo thing in the grill. It looks like fun for sure.
This ain't one of them $200,000 builds, you know. We built that from the junkyard.
Just what you had, just make it work.
So far, it's been doing good.
run straight and make a little power too.
Hey, it ain't bad for a backyard build. I think it goes.
You know, for Daniel and Dave to put this truck together with just parts they have laying around and make it run as good as it does, you know, they did a real good job. Oh, Daniel can drive pretty good too.
Oh yeah. I showed him how to do that. He's got it.
Me and Dave go way back. He came over and watched me ride my bike around the neighborhood, his thing. You know, Northside, we're all a big family. We all know each other. We all look out for each other, especially if you got something cool going on. We may not come from the nicest part of town, but we do know how to make do from what we have times 100. It's just really cool to see. You know, I try to keep that mentality in everything we do. Always pushing ourselves to go from here to here.
One more little nudge. There we go. That's it on the money.
We got an extra large diesel for this 37 International. So we got to build an extra strong custom 4-link for the suspension.
The crossmember here is pretty much the most important part of the rear suspension. Everything trails off of this. So all of our suspension 4-link components mount to the crossmember. The diesel engine that we're putting in here, it's got a lot of torque. So this is super important for it to be strong, square, and level. We'll go ahead and put the heims in between it and bolt it, snug them. You know, in this particular application, the parallel 4-link is the way to go
because it has 4 points of contact linking the axle to the crossmember.
The more points of contact you have, distributes that torque all around. So it's
good right there.
Now the next step is our diagonal link. That's the final link of the whole link system. With the diagonal link from a fixed point to the point on the rear end at an angle, it keeps the rear end from moving side to side. Very key part of the suspension. Watch your face.
Now we have all this set up. We're going to run 2 tabs off here, 2 tabs off here. That's what's going to hang the coilover.
We're going with coilovers instead of airbags on this because he wants a static drop with great performance.
It's a coilover, a shock. The suspension's going to ride on the coil spring of this. It's going to travel up and down with the coilover. And the internal of it acts as a shock. These are our mock-up coilovers we use for everything. When it gets back from powder coat, we'll put the other coilovers on with the new springs, and you'll see the final setup.
Now that we button up the suspension on the 37 International, Tim and Jamie are going to reshape these fenders so we can get that big old wheel in the back. And it'll make it meaner and look a little more modern.
The way this fender is shaped, it rolls this wide. So we need to extend the top of this fender over to the bedside so we'll be able to fit a wide wheel in it. So we marked a bunch of high spots on it. So you cut along that high spot. So when you continue over, it doesn't look like it goes up, comes down, and then continues over. So this is the half of the fender we're going to keep. The other half of the fender we left bolted to the bed. So we knew exactly where to line this back up. A little trick I've learned in the past. Give it a little strip like this. Cut the first piece, the outer side, the most important side. Leave it attached to the metal. Do all your final grinding before you cut the second one. This makes it a lot easier to work with. Basically what we're doing is making this flange to hold it to the bedside. This is going to bolt to the bedside. The fender will weld to this. We're going to tack this back onto this fender. Now the template in the back is the same as this radius on the outside. We'll come in here, we'll cut a section out of the back. Then we'll sheet metal from here to the template, tack it, get that one good. We'll work our way to the front and do the front piece. The flange that we built is what's going to hold it to the bedside. We can unbolt that. The whole fender comes with big fat tires. So what the truck needed in the back instead of that little,
Definitely.
it looked like a motorcycle fender in the back, where now it looks like a fender.
You had to throw something in there about a motorcycle. Yeah. I don't think so.
custom upgrades into the International. But when it comes to the interior, we're going to refurbish the seats to still keep some of that 1930s look. The hard part about using the old seats, sometimes the springs just twist and break. There's not a lot of guys that's still around that can fix these, but Joe's been doing this longer than I've been around. Man, I got a 37 International. It's still, a vintage looking truck, and I want to keep that vintage feel with a little more modern touch.
Yeah, we'll get rid of all this horsehair, and I'll put some nice comfort foam on there, tie the springs up, fix the framework.
Man, you know what I need.
Nothing to it, buddy. I've been helping you for years. You think I'm gonna stop now?
Better not.
No problem, buddy.
Let's get it loaded up.
All right. Bill's been my friend since he was a boy. When I first built this first building, he said, "Oh, I can do that," and I said, "Yeah, no problem." But he never stopped. He just kept going, building more and more and more. Oh wow! This broke right there. That used to go there, and this used to go to here. So we're gonna have to bend a new edge wire and put it in here to attach these springs back together, make it a permanent part of the seat. Where's Bill at when you need him? I need a welder, man. But I've done this ever since I was a kid. They used to make them a lot better than they do now. Now, they don't have springs in the seats no more. They just got foam on them, so they're not as comfortable. I think we need to get this right here. These young guys now, all they do is fix foam. So if you need your springs fixed, you gotta come to an old guy like me. We're starting to get a shape to the seat. We're going to put a piece of carpet on here to keep the springs from cutting up through the foam. You wrap these edges. We're fixing to make our patterns. We're going to make it out of another material that's not our leathers. Watch your fingers. That way we don't make no mistakes with the expensive material. This is our black leather we're going to make our seats out of. It's nice, pliable, soft. The cut. Let's see how it looks. Now all we got to do is staple this down, and we're going to have a good looking leather seat. We got one seat down, one more to go, and we'll get this back to Bill.
Monty loves the vintage feel of this truck, but he wants modern touches on it. So I called my boy Lewis in. He's going to build some wood panels for the side of this bed. Still give it that vintage feel, but with custom touch.
What's up, man?
Man, need your help again.
All right. What do we got?
Monty would like to pay a little homage to his family's history. His dad has had, grocery stores in the past. I need a wood panel for each side of the bed and put their name in the bedside here somewhere.
Yeah, that'll look good.
The wheels are going to be a charcoal. The inside's all dark, so I'd like, a dark stain on this thing too, so it ties everything together.
Okay. Well, if you're going charcoal on the wheels, we could do something really cool and go with a Shosugiban finish.
A what?
A Shosugiban finish. It's a traditional Japanese finish used to preserve wood, and what we'll actually do is char the wood to give it that charcoal appearance. Nobody else would have it, that's for sure.
And that sounds cool, man. Let's do that.
Okay, sounds good.
Ready to get it?
Take this over here and get started. We're going to take this piece, take our router and route it to the exact shape and give it a little profile on the edge. We're going to put some nice styling on the sides of it so it's not square, and it gives it a really nice detailed edge. All we have to do now is put the Shosugiban finish on it. So we're going to fire up the torch and get started. So it's really important whenever you're doing a Shosugiban finish that you keep the flame moving. We don't want to keep it concentrated in one spot too long because it could potentially catch on fire, and we definitely don't want that. So as you can see, as we're doing this, it starts to really highlight the grain of the wood, and what that's doing is it's burning out the softwood of the oak and just exposing that hardwood, starting to look really, really nice. Get that look that Bill was going for when he said he wanted the charcoal gray. What better look to give them than an actual piece of burnt wood. Now I'm going to wet it down just so it doesn't get too hot. Now you can see how all that water is we're looking for not just the look, but this bed will be protected for many years to come.
Okay, so now that we've got the Shosugiban finish done, we're going to get the letters engraved onto this, and then it'll be ready to put on the truck. You know, for me, one of the best parts of building custom builds is that it's art. But this ain't no sculpture, we get to drive them. And the more I think about David and Daniel's drag truck, the more I want to give it a run. You know, I at least gotta ask. Look like they're around here, so they're probably out back messing around. What all my Oh, man. They're gonna have to come get us. Man, here we are. Little shortcut turned into getting stuck. And that's one thing I hate, being stuck in the mud.
And once again, we gotta come and save Bill's ass. Once again. You know, when I come back there seeing Bill stuck in that mud and he had on them pretty white shoes, I just could not believe it. I think we're getting some boots for Christmas. Yeah. I know much, man. Need a little help here?
Man, please, dude.
We take care of you. You already know that. Don't get it all muddy, Bill.
You didn't bring me a blanket to lay on?
Sure. Hey, hold on. I'll be right back with that. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk to you about that race truck.
Do I need to go get it to pull you out? Nah, I don't recommend that.
Man, I might need to take that thing for a little ride.
I don't know. Look what you're doing back here.
Have you never been stuck before, huh?
No. You know, we're going to take it out next weekend, man, but I think we got other problems now. How about next weekend?
You won't let me drive?
She's ready. Anytime, man.
All right, cool, man.
Let's get you out of this right now, Bill. Centered. Had to go backwards.
Man.
You know, sometimes getting people out of the mud, it's easy, but other days it's a lot of work. You know, I enjoy that part of off-roading. You're gonna get stuck, you know. All right. These things happen.
This bumper's for looks, so.
It's gonna look good behind this Jeep.
Let's do it.
Come on, you got it. Straighten up, Bill. Straighten up.
Man. Thanks.
Anytime, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The truck's ready.
Man, appreciate it. I'll see you
We got you. We got you.
You know, I appreciate David and Daniel inviting me out today. I can't wait to get in that driver's seat, see what this thing can do.
Back. Yeah, there you go.
So Daniel, tell me about it real quick, man. Give me a little tutorial.
All right. Make sure your steering wheel's latched on. Got your water pump here. You're going to go all the way back to first gear. Bam. First. Yes, sir. Second.
That's it.
When you let go of that button, you're going for a ride. You're leaving.
Cool, man. I got this. Let me suit up and let's see what this thing will really do.
Let's do it. Yeah. You got to have this on? Case catch on fire. I know you like to go in circles, but we'll see how your driving skills are straight. Keep it straight.
You got it.
Hey, you got this, brother. You got it. You got it. Handle it.
I'm doing a burnout. I can feel, you know, this thing's got a little power.
And not bad for first pass. Yep.
Man, releasing that button, feeling just the torque of this engine, the power pulling you back in the seat and just holding this thing straight the whole time. Man, it's just exhilarating.
Well, what do you think, man? What do you think? What up? What do you think?
Oh, truck runs good, boy.
And the 6 is on the first pass? That's rolling.
You know, it's a great way to start off your day. You don't need coffee or energy drink. Adrenaline rush is the best way to get it going. Man, that was fun, man. I tell you what, I've been needing that. You know, working so hard at the shop, man, you just get in the grind and get to come out here on a day like this and really release some frustrations, man. It just clears your mind, and I needed it, man. I really appreciate that.
Does that baby roll or what?
It does, man. It runs really good.
We're gonna build one. You better watch it.
That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
To fit the 12-valve diesel and the 37 International, we had to pull off the turbo, amongst other things. Once this thing is running, the Wells family is going to have to figure out how to put all that stuff back on there and make the hood close. That 12-valve, it's in here.
I see that.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of room under the hood of this thing.
Yeah, Bill, for sure. I can tell we're going to have to move this charger, run a new custom intake to the compressor on the charger, return line, oil lines, fuel lines. This thing will fire up today, no problem.
Cool. Let me
Let's make it happen,
man.
Thank you, bro. So we got a big engine, very little space. So first things first, we got to figure out what we're going to do with this turbo. We're going to have to move this manifold, pull it in more, so you can run any exhaust or piping in here that we need to do. That's going to be tight, especially here.
We're going to have to lower it.
Yeah, if we can cut this off and weld that flat and drop it down, then I can put a 90 there.
We're going to have to modify the exhaust manifold and move the turbo up and forward so we'll have room for the valve pipe. Because this turbo weighs so much, we want to keep as much metal on this manifold as we can, give us more welding surface, and keep this area strong. All right, that looks good. Let's pack it up.
Right there, we're ready to go, guys. All right, Clay, work the starter. TJ, when you start getting fuel up there, Dad, just stand there, look pretty.
What we like about these 12 valves of 5.9 is that they're very, very tough and rugged. They're simple to work on, and they make some of the greatest noises on the planet.
All right, ready?
We gotta run a 12 valve, boys. Turbo's finished, fuel lines are ran. All that's left now is just to make it look pretty.
Well, it all started with this one right here.
The first truck I ever got was a 2001 Dodge. My mom drove it forever pulling her horses, and it quit running one day. He said, look, for your first truck, you fix it, it's yours. And I researched it, fixed it, it's went from there.
He started fixing his truck up and racing everyone around town. And before we knew it, everyone was calling him and dropping their trucks full of trucks. And we were like, well, I guess we better start a shop.
And even poor Clay got suckered into all this.
I was the dedicated flashlight holder for a long time. It was pretty great. I slowly graduated into more the technical side of it.
Between the three of us, I mean, we can do anything.
You know, as a dad, I'm living the dream to be able to work with my sons every day. It's awesome. These two guys have taken this way further than I ever dreamed. I'm proud of them. I'm blessed, and I'm glad that we all get to do this together.
Help me do this real quick. We got the chassis back from powder coat on the 1937 International Harvester, and it's all hands on deck putting together the rolling chassis with custom 20-inch wheels and tires.
Bring it down just a little bit, Tom. Stop.
Looks at home right there, right?
Looks nice. Looks good. You know, if you look from the outside, all the changes are pretty subtle. But this thing is completely transformed. You know, Monty had a talk with something really cool and custom. Well, there's next to nothing 30s underneath this truck anymore. You know, I hope he likes it, because I know I do. I gotta say, this is one of my favorites. I'm gonna give it back to Monty today, reluctantly. Hey, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm excited. I gotta tell you,
I'm excited for you, too.
When I came to your house a while back, you wanted the farm truck vintage feel, but something you could just get in and drive and terrorize the neighborhood.
And maybe irritate the neighbors a little.
We definitely got you hooked up with that for sure.
The anticipation's about to get the best of me.
Let's check it out.
Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Look the stance. It's perfect. Like it? Crazy. Hey, man, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I can't wait to see the nuts and bolts on this thing. This is crazy.
Once we got going on this thing, we've just gutted everything. At one point, it was just a cab.
Just a cab and frame.
We started building from there. When you came in, this thing was pretty much 100% original. That's cool for the vintage look. As far as drivability on this thing, one of the main things I know you wanted was that diesel engine. So we got a Cummins 12 valve in this thing.
Put a 12 valve Cummins in this thing?
Wasn't an easy fit
No.
in this truck.
Oh my God. Look at that. How in the world did you stuff that big motor in that little truck?
Pretty much only see the front 4 cylinders, right?
Yeah, that's it.
The other 2 are inside the cab.
Okay, good.
You know, that isn't an easy trick there. We cut out the old firewall, got it in place, and just pretty much built a new firewall, new transmission tunnel around the engine.
That's amazing. Amazing. When I fire this up, I think all the neighbors around me are going to know that the old International's running. This all fits in there, the hood closes and doesn't stick out. That is just off the scale cool.
We took out the old straight axle, the over end, and we just scrapped all that.
Yeah.
Built an independent front suspension, 4-link, a new 9-inch in the back with all coilovers all the way around. This thing can handle any torque this engine puts out. The attitude's right now. You see how this thing sits on the coilovers?
That's a perfect stance I wanted. Tire width. They're kind of like the old wheels that came off of it.
Right.
Exactly what I was looking for. It's amazing.
And to get it down that low, we had to...
You nailed it. They're not out of proportion. They match the front. It's perfect. Most people will never notice it. I had to look at it a couple times to see what had happened. All the subtle custom features that are really off the scale, you can't see them. They're so subtle, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Oh, man. Look at that. This truck had never had it so good, right? You know? I mean, there was just bare metal here. That's awesome.
Still, you know, the original seat, but just, you know, totally redone. Still has that, you know, the vintage look, but still has that custom feel also.
I'd say you nailed it because it just was all brand new.
I think you're going to be just very comfortable inside there when you're passing everybody up.
Yeah, I like that part, the passing part.
You know, Monty, you had those steak pockets on the back.
Yeah.
Steak belongs on your plate, not on the bed. So we filled in all the holes where the steak pockets were. We moved the wood down on the bed sides, and it has a spot for your family son.
I like that a lot. Subtle, but it's important to me that it's on there.
Man, it was really nice to be able to work on something old like this, you know, from seeing like a Nebraska truck, then taking it to where we brought it today. It's nice to see a finished product and a happy customer like yourself.
Yeah, man, you nailed it. Thank you guys very much. That is awesome. It is crazy good. I can't wait to get out. And
you know, once again, my guys killed it on this. Hey, Monty, enjoy this truck. You're going to have a lot of fun, you know, driving, cruising, and terrorizing the neighborhood.
You're actually making something that no one else is making. No one else will make it.
I cannot wait to see this. What is this, man? This thing's huge.
You know, it's a 1996 International 4700.
You want to fix up a dump truck?
Huh? This truck is the biggest and heaviest that we've done to date.
Everything on this thing was just pie cut and welded together.
This is way above par.
That's mine? Wow!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
As you can see, we're really busy around here. The parking lot's always full. You know, each time's, you know, starts and finish really quick. Sometimes, you know, a vehicle comes in and gets put on pause. Life happens, right? So you just want to finish that thing. You want to get it out the door, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen like that. It eats at me for sure. You know, everybody sees it. You know, why is that there? What's going on with that? You know, eventually that thing will come back around. You get it going again, you finally get that thing finished. It's a definite sense of accomplishment. Me and Sean go way back since high school. We did a body drop back in '95 on his Chevy S10. Sean's been waiting to do another build for a while, and I think I finally have the right project for him.
This it? All right.
You know, the owner is just way too overwhelmed with this truck, so it's a perfect opportunity for Sean to buy it and take it over.
And I've always liked a unibody, ever since I've seen the one y'all built years ago.
Yeah, they're super rare. I mean, this is something, you see these body styles a lot, but nothing like that. I mean, it's unique. Most of this truck is a 1968 Chevy C10, but with a little twist. It's a 68 Chevy Caddy. We built a whole new frame, front to back, that's already built. There's new doors, new fenders. You know, there's a late model 5.3 in it, 24 by 10s, 24 15s in the back with a 9-inch in it that's already been narrowed. The old dash has been cut out and a 56 Chevy dash put in it. This thing is a perfect start for you because you can put your own personal touch on it. You know, with the right colors, right wheels, tires, and getting this thing running. It'd be a cool project.
I like the fact that there's a lot of stuff started on it, but I'm gonna be able to finish it my way, the way I want to do it.
I know how you like to color match.
Well, I mean, you got to keep my shirt and shoes matching, keep it fresh.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we can bring a little bit of color inside the interior, match the chassis color, and have a little contrast with the body color.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, I see Sean liking this thing. Hopefully he can see, you know, past all the work that had to be done and just see the vision for this project. You know, on the back of this thing, I think something that would be really cool to really set this thing apart even more would be building an aluminum bed cover on this. It just continues that smoothness all the way down from the front bumper all the way to the back.
Keep it real clean.
Exactly.
First time I saw Bill, first day of my freshman year of high school, he pulled up in his long bed, lowered, square body Chevy truck. I was like, man, I don't know who that is, but we got to get in with him. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
You know, everybody that has a car shop, automotive repair shop, custom shop, there's always a project or two that's sitting around back that just doesn't quite get finished. This one's no different. Project like this, they snowball into dreaming big. And when you dream big, sometimes your pocketbook can't hang with the dreams. You come in for one thing, next thing you know, you're building a chassis for it, changing the motor, and totally stripping it down to where you're at. You know, this is a prime example for that. Digging it out of the back and getting going on it, man. I've got high hopes for it.
So the rumor's true?
You got it, man. You know, my boy Sean's taking it over.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to dig this thing out and get this thing going and finish it up. New owner, new plan. You know, a normal C10 truck has the body and then the bed totally separated. You know, we made this thing a unibody. We welded bed sides right to the cab, a custom tailgate skin, smooth bed floor, a 56 Chevy dash, and a 68 front end. You know, we got a work to be done. I mean, just from the front of this thing, you know, getting the grill, all the sheet metal back on this thing and seeing what we have, what we still need to get. New glass all the way around, flush mount, you know, something that looks really nice. So you already know Sean's style. You know, every time he comes in, he's got to have the shirt and shoes matching, you know.
So we're going to paint it yellow wheels with green trim on it? Typically his favorite colors.
You know, Sean's got to coordinate, so interior is going to match the engine, chassis, you know, make everything color coordinate, which leads to the bed, which me and you, buddy, are going to build a bed cover for this thing out of aluminum, you know, flush with the top of the bed, something that just makes this thing slick all the way from the front to the back.
I mean, it's crazy to think you unibodied this thing 7 years ago.
It's been a minute.
7-year build.
This thing has a ton of work and a ton of memories in it. You know, we got a huge head start. We still have a lot of challenges in front of us for sure. Me and you start doing the bed cover in the back.
I want to see where we get the head start from.
The
custom bed cover we're making is going to sit flush with the top of the bed, but it's also going to open and close. So I had Jesse make some cool custom hinges.
Did all right.
He did good, man. I know this thing's a pain in the butt to make, man. It takes forever. Rudy, the first thing we need to do is make a brace from side to side that holds the hinges. All we have to do is weld it in place and start building our bed cover.
All right, so the first thing I gotta do is cut down my 1.5 inch square tubing to fit inside the bed. Then we'll go ahead and start making our modifications inside the square tubing so we can fit our new bed cover hinges. Got my tabs tacked in. Looks like it's gonna be right where we need it. Our hinge is giving us enough lift and enough articulation, so this thing is ready to go.
Man, this is exactly what we needed, Rudy. This metal work that's already was here is a little inconsistent. That'll create a lot of body work later, so why don't we just cap it with a piece of sheet metal to go from this edge all the way over and then down and have a little lip out here. Then it'll be laser straight all the way around this thing. Then we'll have a nice bed for the bed cover to sit right onto. We'll just cut this sucker here. This is going to make for a lot faster installation, and you know, there's little ways to make things easier. You learn as you go, you know, all the little tricks of the trade. And one thing we learned is not just tacking, looking down it, stepping back and maneuvering. Use a straight edge. So we're clamping a straight edge. We know it's straight both ways, this way and that way. There's no second guess. There's no wondering if it's right. You know exactly. You can just tack down it, keep rolling, go to the next step, and this is just one little trick of the trade.
So before we slap our aluminum sheet metal on top, we need to build a frame for this thing. We don't want the sheet metal going all wonky on us when we're opening it up. So that's why we place these ribs across so we can use it to simulate the bottom of the sheet metal. So all I have to do is just mark it, take the hinge off, trim it, come back and put it on, and get my actual frame piece, and tack them up, and then we'll move on from there. Got my hinges marked up, so all we're gonna do now is take them off, go ahead and trim them up. I left enough room on the bottom and back side of the hinge so we get enough weld on there, give us enough strength to hold this bed cover. Alright, we'll get our top rib here to simulate our aluminum sheet metal. Push the hinges all the way up, make full contact with them.
That's good, Rudy. Very, very good. This is the most critical stage of making everything right. That way the gaps stay perfect, everything stays the same all the way around, and you don't damage paint when it goes up and down 20 times. So it should be closed, and we'll open that sucker up. Works good. I mean, just to this point is a ton of work that nobody's ever gonna know, but if this isn't right, that affects everything else. So now the rest is just work. You know, just like any part of a project, you got to have a plan. And our plan on this is building from the inside out. So we need to build all the framework first, make sure all the kinks are worked out before we put the final little skin on the top of it. Welding out the bed cover frame on the C10 unibody. You know, to make sure this thing has plenty of room to close, we're going to shave off the top of the wheel tubs.
All right, so now we got our bed cover mocked up. Everything fits nice and good. The only issue we're seeing is there isn't that much clearance between the bed cover and the wheel well. So what we're going to do here, fill it back in nice and flat, and that's going to give us plenty of clearance between the wheel well and the bed cover. I got my lines drawn out of how much I want to cut off. I'm anticipating that this 4-inch cut off the top of this round wheel well, probably going to take it down about a 1/4 inch. Next step is make my nice flat pieces out of 16 gauge sheet metal. I'm just trying to straighten out my panels here because obviously we went from a curved edge to what's now going to be a straight edge. So I just want to make sure and get my sheet metal nice and flat, so whenever I put my flat piece in, we'll get a good, nice transition from curved to flat. So as I'm tacking my filler piece in, I'm using these super strong magnets. This helps me make a nice flat top as I'm applying pressure to my filler piece to my round fender well. All I have to do is fully weld it all out, grind it smooth, and this baby's all done. Let's see how much clearance we got. So this would be the bottom of our aluminum. Looks all good. So now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the frame on there, skin it with the aluminum.
When you've been building custom trucks as long as I have, you kind of get in the habit of saying this is going to be a big build. There are big builds and there's just huge builds. And yeah, there's a difference. Today I'm out here at Ocean Corp to see my boy John Wood. What's happening, John?
Oh, hey, Bill, how are you?
You know, John runs a training school for underwater welders and commercial divers.
Hey, man, how you doing?
What's happening, man? Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
What is this, man? This thing's huge. Where'd you get this thing at?
I bought it from Florida Highway Department. It was an asphalt truck.
You want to fix up a dump truck?
Huh?
Man. You know, it's a 1996 International 4700. You know, that's usually used for hauling, commercial applications, or even as a dump truck. You know, I can say for sure we never customize one of these. For starters, I don't even think we have a lift big enough for this.
I just like the look of it. I thought this is kind of like the world's first jumbo pickup truck.
We got an old highway department dump truck that you want to make cool.
Yes, sir. That's it. Something
yeah, that's
cool.
all.
Yeah, that's it. That's no lift for you. You can do anything. I got the inspiration. I wanted a big, kind of funny monster military high water vehicle, and I liked the shape of the crew cab on this truck.
What are you going to use this thing for?
Marketing for the company. I want to be able to skid mount diving stuff or NDT stuff. Somebody can do with a little creativity with a fun truck, and it'll be a toy too. I mean, you can't minimize the toy value.
Right, right. Man, let's check out the back of this thing.
Check this thing out.
Yeah, this got to go.
Yeah.
Just take this whole dump bed off and just start fresh.
Right.
Shorten the wheelbase, put some air suspension on it, make you a nice new bed, something you can take on and off, you know, easily.
Can't forget the cool factor. It's got to be cool.
Well, for sure.
I'd like the dump truck to attract attention. I want it to be cool above all. It's got to be flashy and fun and interesting and different. It's got to be different.
What's in the inside of this thing?
Oh, that's a different story.
Man, there's a whole lot of ugly and yellow.
Yeah.
Man, John, once you pull up in this thing, it's going to draw a crowd immediately. When you open the door on this,
no, you
can't have this.
Can't have that.
We got to start off by, you know, covering these seats, putting some carpet in this thing, make it look a lot better. I mean, something you can show off. What's under the hood?
Big diesel. What more do you want?
Sure, how many miles on this thing?
120,000. So that's not
Ain't
bad.
even broke in yet.
No.
This is a turbocharged 444E. It's a million miles. Maybe get rid of the water hose and the electrical tape.
I kind of like that electric tape hanger. That's kind of nice, yeah.
Let's look at the front of this thing.
I take it you're not digging on my school bus yellow.
Man, we got to get rid of this.
No bueno.
No. You thinking of any colors or anything you want to see on this?
Whatever you think is going to pop and be interesting and fun and exciting.
So you're trusting me on this one?
Pretty much.
I'll come up with something cool for sure, man. For sure. Man, this is going to be a fun little project, man. The only thing is, this thing isn't going to fit on my record.
No.
I guess I'll see you at the shop. Huh?
You want me to sneak it over there?
Extensive has worked on a ton of vehicles over the years, like Kodiaks, F650s, you know, a lot of big vehicles, but this truck is the biggest and heaviest that we've done to date. Dealing with the size and weight of this vehicle adds to the challenge of the whole overall build. One of the first things you do before you even get started tearing anything apart is just taking into consideration the jacks you have to use, the jack stands, the impacts that you use on a vehicle this heavy. Not to mention, you know, picking the right suspension, building a 4-link heavy enough, the lift high enough and sturdy enough to hold. I think I'm absolutely crazy. They already do anyway, but this is probably going to prove it.
What in the world we got here now? Ain't no telling. We gotta climb up this thing? Why do we have a dump truck?
This old Mr. Wood's new project, you know, unique guy. Want something unique?
True John Wood fashion. He's always had some crazy idea of what he wanted.
Well, that's the problem. We got a dump truck, but he doesn't want a dump truck. Oh, Mr. Wood wants something just to go anywhere, do anything, all-purpose, militaristic, cool-looking truck. You know, first thing we'll do is dump the dump bed. It's got an extra long wheelbase. We're going to shorten the wheelbase, bring it down to a 60-inch cabbed axle, and put a stake bed on it. We definitely got to upgrade the suspension on this thing, give it a nice look. Just get the stance right with the militaristic wheels and tires, helper bags on the back so he can still haul whatever he wants to haul. Get the mechanics right underneath the hood. Somebody had some creative fixes underneath the hood, make sure all that's right and do something with the interior. There's a whole lot of ugly inside this thing right here.
That reminds me of my old high school bus.
I bet it smells like a high school bus too.
I've been trying to forget that smell for years.
Let's get this thing in front of the shop. Let's get it all tore down. Just get this thing as light. As is, the International weighs well north of 10,000 pounds, which is past the top capacity of our lift. So I'm going to have little one cut off the bed and boxes, and hopefully it'll get us right under.
We're about to cut off this dump truck bed with a torch. It's too much thick plate, too many old bolts. It's better to just get rid of it with some nice fire. It's a good thing we got a forklift so we can get the bed up and we can see exactly what we gotta cut. Yeah, I gotta get that pin out to release the hydraulic cylinder and get this damn bed off. Free at last.
When we pull the bed off most trucks, we can just manually lift it. But we got to get creative to lift this bed and just lift it safely.
Okay. Took 2 forklifts, a little bit of fire, and some help. But we got the dump bed off. Now it's time to get these boxes off. I like to live life on the edge. Stripped away from the truck. Now we gotta see what this thing weighs.
This lift is rated for a maximum 10,000 pounds. So we're gonna take the extra precaution of have this thing weighed so we know exactly what we're working with before we even put it on the lift. And if it's still too heavy, we're gonna have to go back to the cutting board. Anytime you take on a model vehicle that you've never worked with before, especially the size of this International dump truck, is going to create all new challenges for us. What that means in reality, we got to do a lot of setup work before we even start to build.
Got some bad news.
10,020.
Yeah, we're 20 over.
But you weighed it with you in there, right?
Right.
So you weigh about 120, something like that. So
I guess so.
100 pounds under.
We're good to go then.
Our lift's rated for 10,000 pounds. We got 9,920 pound truck. So we're about to put it to the test and see if it's really rated for what that sticker says right now. 15 inches.
15?
15. Pushing and pulling on it, its weight can shift. Especially with something this size, it can get really dangerous really quick. So we're welding 15-inch extensions from the frame directly to the lift, so this thing won't move anywhere.
I need a favor, amigo. Oh, we need it welded like that.
With a build this big, you have to build parts to be able to build the parts to be able to build it big.
Adios con Dios. So just like life, everything has to be in balance. The ideal spot for the extensions to go is where the lift is centered to the cab, so the weight of the engine doesn't rock forward and the weight of the rear doesn't rock back. Alright, moment of truth finally. We're gonna get this thing in the air. It's 10,000 pounds, 10,000 pound lift. We should be good. I'm gonna double check the front. I'm a little nervous. I gotta make sure that everything's good before I go up in the air and 10,000 pounds over me. I'll get crushed like a little L1 pancake. That's good. I'll wear it comfortable right there. There's a lot of weight. weight up here. Everything we do from here on out has to be very particular so that we make sure we don't go too much overweight or overweight at all. It's hard. One tiny mistake and we're gonna have a huge problem.
We made the bed cover hinges, frame, and skin for the 68 unibody. Now Rudy and I can install the struts. Think that's gonna work, man? Cool, it ought to get plenty of height. I know they're gonna be strong enough.
Oh, yeah.
You look like you're skiing right there.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Good work, Jesse. It's good, man. Thank you.
All right, man. See you guys' hands now.
Let's see if them shocks work. Man, looks good, man. There's plenty of room. Backpack, cooler.
Tote full of shoes. He'll be happy about that.
Yeah, his whole lineup of shoes. That'll work good, man. Well, you know, last thing, getting the skin on. Once the skin's on, that's it.
You know, the old truck's been sitting around the shop for a couple of years. You know, it's really good to get it back out, get it going again, get this thing finished up. I mean, it's going to be a really cool truck once it's all done. For support off and start screwing the metal down. There's nothing to hold the frame perfectly flat. So we're just putting a couple of little spacers in here. So then when we put our sheet on it, we can put pressure drilling down. And it's not going to push our frame down, leave it sagging down like that.
Man, for once, it's starting to look like a complete truck, huh?
Yeah, looking good, man. We pre-marked where the bottom framework is, so we're just marking so we know where the center of the frame is on the sheet. So we're gonna pre-drill the sheet, run tech screws in it so everything fits nice and tight. And then we can pull the whole thing off, and then we can get Jesse to TIG it to the framework so it's one complete bed cover then. This thing will be ready for body work. You know, Chevy never made a C10 truck with a cab welded to the bed. You know, it took a lot of work getting here. But to make all those lines look right, it's going to take a lot of body work. And with everything we got going on at the shop, we're going to need some help. We're going to need some help bad. Man, what's up, dog? Good to see you. You know, it's not every day you can just pick up the phone and call one of the best body and paint guys around. And him just get in his truck and trailer is a true friend.
Man, you saved me once again, man. I mean, I know Tennessee isn't right around the corner.
Man, it was right down the street, you know what I mean? 12 hours around the corner, but we got it. You know what I mean? What y'all do with this one this time?
I just want to start totally fresh with this thing.
Bare metal up.
Blast it, spray it, make the gaps right, make this thing look good, make us look good.
You got it, man. That's what we do.
Thank you.
You know, Zane's going to give this truck a lot of attention at his shop and then bring it right back to us.
This is a tremendous amount of work. This thing's been here since I first started hanging out. And it's just sat outside and been neglected for all these years. You know, I mean, it's super cool to see it finally getting, you know, the love that it deserves. I'm just going to hammer down, drive through the night, and get back home so we can get going on this thing first thing Monday morning.
The C10 unibody is getting bodyworked by Zane. John's going to create a seamless look on the inside of the cab with a handmade speaker box.
With it being a unibody truck, we're going to take the subwoofer box and actually build it into the truck and mold it in so there's no seams or anything. It'll all be part of the truck and we'll wrap it all as one piece. We'll do some router work. We're going to make some trim rings, some base plates, stack this thing up, give it some depth, some contour, work it in so it's not just a mud work. The important thing here is to lay it as smooth as you possibly can so you don't have to sand as much. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do, but one of the things that I have to do the most. What we'll do now is we'll just take that, let that round dry, and then we'll finish out the other side and it should come out pretty easy.
We put a lot of different truck components together to make this C10 unibody. So all the bodywork has to be on point to make this thing perfect. Our guys in Dunlap, Tennessee are doing just that.
Pretty big day at the shop. Tons of bodywork going into this thing. We had the truck all blasted down to bare metal. The guys built the bed cover from scratch. Very nice stuff. So what we're going to do now is just perfect what they had already started.
now is taping off the jam to get the bed cover to meet the bed sides. It's a little low in a couple of spots that a little light filler will take care of. Don't be afraid to use tape. Using tape doesn't make you not cool. It makes you smart because you're not having to create more work for yourself taking all this Bondo out of these jams that are already straight. It's not broke, so don't fix it. Wiping a panel this big, you've got to do it in sections just so you can concentrate on over here instead of all of this all at once. So we're going to move into, when you look across the top of it, it just looks like it just came that way. We round all of our edges off. Paint won't stick to a hard, sharp edge. So we'll come in there and make sure we keep those round. We got pretty much the majority of the bed cover bodywork, so we're going to use this little gap checker here. This is going to tell us how big the gap is and make sure that it's straight all the way down. We've got a 4 all the way down, so this tells us that the bed cover is evenly gapped all the way down the bedside. This beats eyeball, and this takes all the guessing game out of it. Spend you a couple bucks, get you one of these to make sure that your gaps are perfect. So now what we're going to do is get it off of the truck, do a little bit of final sand in there, pick it apart, make sure we didn't miss nothing, and get this thing in primer.
Because this frame on the International dump truck is so long, we can't even close the bay door. It just sticks out. So for now, Little One's going to relocate the axle and make a rough cut to the frame. We'll finalize the length of the frame, then we'll cap it.
Because we got to move the rear axle forward, we got to take apart the whole leaf springs, back half of the drive shaft, all these hydraulic hoses, wiring. Once it's all done, we'll be able to close the door and get our shoulder wheel. We're going to slide the whole assembly together. Brother, thank you. You got a big truck, short wheelbase. That's cool as hell. Yo, what's happening, man? You doing good?
Man, I'm doing good. How's things down there?
Couldn't be better.
Hey, it's color time.
You got it. Sean wants his C10 unibody to be painted white.
A white truck is difficult to really stand out from a crowd.
So I asked Zane to come up with something really special for this white and put a little something extra in the mix.
I'm gonna go to work. Thank you. Days like today, we're really excited to get to do something different. There's so many colors out there that it's hard to stand out and be different. It's something else, man. It's gonna blow them away.
This is Lumicode. What it does is it just crushed mirrors. It reflects the light in low light conditions so you can see it more clearly.
So when the light hits this at nighttime, it's just gonna glow like the emergency stickers and stuff.
Like a street light. In the daylight, they'll knock your eyes out.
At nighttime, this will knock your eyes out.
It will.
This is pretty nasty, you know what I mean?
It's pretty cool.
I'm freaking pumped, man. Let's get this thing painted. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time, so it's like fun to be impressed by something. Nothing wows us anymore. It's usually the same stuff, different day. I cannot wait to see this.
It's been a little over a month since Zane started working on the C10. And today's the day he's bringing it back. And I get to see this thing in person.
What it do?
What's happening? I really appreciate you taking this on, man.
I love my away games at your place, but we got to do this one at home, and I think we knocked it out of the park.
Man, I'm ready to check this thing out.
Let's open it up.
Man.
Woo! Turn right a little bit. Turn left a little bit. There you go.
What you think about it?
Man, this thing looks better than good. Looks like it's been dipped.
This is the brightest white that we could have possibly put on it with little crushed mirror flakes in it. This thing just dances in the sunlight.
Sean can't not like this thing.
And if Sean don't like it, call me. I'll be the first one to buy it.
All right, I know you're ready to get back.
I'm out of here.
We got a lot to do to it now, too. It's been a few years since we built the custom chassis and suspension for this truck. We're going to pull it all apart and powder coat it a dark red to contrast this white. Everything still looks good. A couple little things we'll change up and freshen up and make it just like brand new, but this thing's gonna start coming together here real soon. While the frame's at the
powder coat, he's working on some custom kick panels. You know, there's a lot of different ways we can go with these kick panels, but the main thing is that we make sure the design kind of flows with the rest of the truck. We have the carpet that's going to be on the bottom of our doors, so we want to continue that into here, and then make a cool little shape that's going to kind of match the rest of the vehicle that's going to hold our speakers. Now we rough cut that, set up the router, and go to that. Puzzle, man. So we kind of set it up. We got our base, we got our baffle for our speakers, and we got our trim ring that goes up here. The speaker's actually going to mount from the rear in there just like that. So we can build this whole thing on the table. We'll fill in this back area right around. Slightly score this on the back side, allow it to bend without. All right, we got it all wrapped around with our panel board here. Now all we got to do is get it all mudded up, wrap it, and we're done with these kicks.
Since I'm actually going to take this box and mold it in and make it part of the truck, what we're going to do is take this, make it solid one piece, get this screwed into place, and then we'll come in with some panel board and start molding this thing in. We're going to actually wrap the whole back of the truck with the box and all at one time, so there's no seam, just kind of follow along with the idea of the unibody. So now we'll just start making pieces to get the sides filled in. So what I'll do is I'll use some chipboard. There'll be no separation from the body to the box all the way around to the back of this truck, so that'll look pretty cool. When I look at a space that I'm trying to design out and figure out what's going on with it, just kind of keep in mind body lines, the style cues, and things like that from the vehicle, and just kind of incorporate that into what you're building, and just let it kind of flow through and just create something, because you're actually making something that no one else is making. No one else will make it. It's one of a kind. You're just putting your own spin and your own thoughts of these things, so there's really no wrong way to go about it as long as you get to the final product that you're after.
The frame and suspension are back from powder coat on the C10 unibody. Man, this thing looks even better than I thought it would.
You know, with an all-white truck, it's really, really important to pick an accent color that's really going to stand out. We definitely achieved that. I mean, this is way above par. I mean, this red is actually a couple of colors in one. It's got a chrome base over a transparent red, and it really, really, really looks good.
We hand-built this frame years ago. Now, to get all the components on the chassis and watch it go up and down with the motor on it, something I didn't think I was going to see. This was just a stock piece of 2x3, 2x4. Everything on this thing was just pie cut and welded together, and it just gives you a great pride knowing that it's rolling down the road 80, 90 miles an hour, carrying somebody's family next to you, and it's just rolled real good. Now we have the mock-up wheels on. We have a complete rolling chassis.
What do you think, buddy?
Does it look good?
After so many years of waiting, I can't tell you how satisfying it is to see this truck finally coming together. Mount glass, custom wheels and tires, and finally it's time to give this thing a new home.
I was 22 when I first started welding. I had a friend call me. He said, "Hey man, you want to come weld?" And from there, I began MIG welding carbon steel, then moved up from there to MIG welding aluminum, then from MIG welding aluminum to TIG welding aluminum. Just worked my way up. I grew up here in Houston, just right down here from the shop, about 5 minutes away. As a kid, growing up, hearing about Bill, I always heard he was the best man at bagging trucks. I mean, I used to come with my friends, check out the shop, come out by all the time. Then years passed, and never in my life did I think I would ever be here working for Bill. One of my favorite builds ever done here at the shop was Marco's Red Z01 Camaro. It was aluminum chassis, and man, I got to take the whole thing out. It took me hours, but it was done right. When I see like a build that I worked on the road, I always tell my wife, "Hey, look, I welded that part on it, I welded this on it, I welded the gas tank on it. It never gets old, man. I love it. I just love welding.
Man, that place always hits the spot, man. I'm so full, I don't even want to go back to work. I don't know what you're about to do.
I'll get back there eventually.
You know, it's always good to finish a project up, especially when one's been lingering around the shop for so long. And what really tops it off is finishing the build for a good friend of yours.
Got to get over here and work on some of this stuff you got sitting around the parking lot.
Right? We got to get this parking lot cleared out. That's always a struggle.
For 30 years, I've been going over here to the parking lot and never been cleared out.
Right? I got some work I want you to check out real quick. I want your opinion on something.
You want me to give you my opinion?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what you got. Oh.
I want you to check this out.
All right. Well, let me see what you got. That's mine? Oh, wow.
Been a minute, huh?
Been a while. Man, this is awesome.
You know, last time you seen this truck, it was just basically a rolling chassis and a body on it.
Yeah.
It's 100% now.
Well, unibody, that was the whole reason I liked the truck. I knew that this is what it would turn out like.
With the cab and bed welded together, that really makes this truck look super smooth. It just adds to the whole custom look of this thing. You know, people just gonna look at it and go, man, that's a cool looking truck. It took to make that.
Oh yeah, they'll know. And it's something different that you just don't see out there.
You know, from where it was to what it is now, man, it's night and day. From the roll pan, you know, to the 68 front end, to the nice smooth hood, you know, no wipers, no cowl vents, that's all been shaved, to the front glass all flush, man. You know, Carmen hooked us up with the A&N hot rod glass, makes us a nice windshield, nice back glass with no rubber, so it makes this whole thing look modern. And then down to the bed cover me and Rudy built for you. You know, it's just something you don't see on these trucks, and it just finishes the whole thing off and just makes the unibody part look super smooth.
I mean, the way this thing sits on the ground, I mean, that's phenomenal.
You know, that just doesn't happen with the air suspension. It has to be a chassis specially made, you know, to make a vehicle go this low. You know, added these brand new wheels and tires, 24x8s in the front, 24x14s in the rear, with huge brakes on this thing.
Man, the chrome polished 24-inch wheels, the way it sets off the truck, man, it all goes together so good.
And white, you know, white is super hard to pull off. My boy Zane stepped in. He told me if I ever need anything, give him a call. That's exactly what I did. And you see, Zane got down on it.
Did an awesome job.
Right? It's not only just white, but it's got metallic and a pearl in this, so it really, really stands out.
You can actually see the metallic in the light. See the shine on it.
Check this out.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Right?
I like that.
Once we got it back from Zane, blew everything apart and just started by powder coating all the suspension, all the frame, all the components to go with that. It's a chrome powder coat with transparent red over it, so it really gives it that anodized look. Yeah. And when the sun hits it, man, it just kind of blinds you.
This thing's definitely a show truck now.
And it's a late model 5.3 LT, so it's got plenty of power in here too. Man, let's check out the interior on this thing.
That's nice.
Right?
Man, so clean.
You know, John and Heath really got down on this from top to bottom, from the new headliner to the carpet, you know, the custom-made door panels. There's subs in the back, you know, the kick panels. This thing gets down to, you know, the seats, the console, the all-metal 56 Chevy dash. It's got the Dakota digital gauges. So when you start this thing, everything lights up. It looks like a brand new late model car.
It don't even look like a dash. It looks like a spaceship. Well, the guys did an awesome job. They did great.
You know, Sean, just another example of my team coming together, creating something.
The first vehicle you built for me, and it won't be the last. Man, thank you.
After years of just being passed around, moved from bay to bay to bay, stuff piled on it, finally unpiling everything off the top, getting back to work and finally finishing this thing up, it really feels good. Rudy! Need your help again, buddy? We need some hangers for the International over there, so I need something, you know, pretty beefy. One of the things we're learning on this 1996 International is how many extra steps it takes to even start working on a truck this size. This would be the whole mounting point for the whole rear suspension. Once this is made, we get it bolted on, everything will come off of that.
all boxed in, all the way around.
5/16 plate, this is plenty of strong. This heavy of a truck, it gets stuck in the mud, a little bit of wheel hop, these things aren't gonna go anywhere. See if this bolts up. Man, those things look good. That is exactly what we need to hold all this weight. This is what makes me excited. Taking on the unknown and flexing our creative muscles to do something.
A little bit of powder coat on these things would be right.
We got the hangers done. Let's get the tabs on the rear end, and then we can start building a 4-link. We'll build bag mounts, shock mounts. Then we're